Senator Robert Menendez was charged last year with accepting bribes, including cash, gold bars, and a Mercedes-Benz in exchange for political favors. It was recently revealed that Senator Menendez's attorneys planned to call a New York psychiatrist to testify that the senator's intergenerational trauma created an undisclosed mental health disorder that caused him to store his riches at home. So what exactly is intergenerational trauma, and how does it apply to Senator Bob Menendez's claims as his May trial date start looms just around the corner? I'm Collier Landry. Let's get into it.
Testimony continued today in the most notorious criminal trial in Richland County history. Dr. John Boyle is accused of killing his wife, Noreen.
The 12-year-old son finally took the stand.
As I heard a scream, I heard a thud. It was about this loud.
We, the jury, find the defendant guilty.
I decided at an early age that our trauma should not be what defines us. It's what we choose to do with it that does. I'm here to offer my unique perspective on mental health, true crime, society, and popular culture, and albeit with a slight sense of humor. I'm Collier Landry, and welcome to my show. Mover Nation, wherever you may be and however you may be watching or listening, thanks for making me a part of your day. This program wouldn't be what it is without you guys, so thank you so much. If you would like to support the show financially, I have links to all that stuff in the show notes and description of today's episode. Now, just a little housekeeping for all our Patreon and YouTube members. Our next monthly AV Club is coming up Sunday, May 19th at 8 p.m. Eastern. And we will watch the first episode of the new second season of the HBO series, The Jinx. The first episode, and that is called Chapter 7, Why Are You Still Here? Which I'm assuming is directed by Robert Durst towards the film's director, Andrew Jarecki. Very interesting show. If you guys haven't seen The Jinx, you should catch up on the first season. Then we can watch the first episode of the second season. It'll be fantastic. So I'm looking forward to seeing everybody there. If you are at the $7 or higher level, you have automatic entry to the AV Club. If you guys want to upgrade your memberships. So let's get into today's episode. So the defense's new strategy centers on the concept of intergenerational trauma. And to discuss this topic, I am pleased to welcome Dr. Roger Rhoades. Now, Dr. Roger Rhoades has been a professional counselor since 1987. He is licensed in South Carolina, Mississippi, Florida, and Georgia. He is on staff at the Synergy Counseling in Greenwood. He has spoken nationally and appeared on national television from 1994 to 2010 on programs such as Montel, Jenny Jones, and Oprah. I am pleased to welcome to the program Dr. Roger Rhoades.
Good to talk to you today.
How you doing, man?
Oh, any better to have sell tickets.
Well, thank you so much for joining the program, man. You know, so this Senator Bob Menendez is about to begin his trial next week on corruption charges of taking bribes from the Qatari government and the Egyptian government. Over $600,000 in valuables were found stashed in his closet, including gold bars, cash, etc. And he was given a Mercedes. He has a long history of doing this. He was already tried once in 2017. This is his second or third run-in with the law, and he refuses to vacate his seat in Congress. Dr. Roger.
You know, one thing that we need to remember in this is think of little children. When little children are caught lying, they come up with a great excuse. You know, it is fascinating as people get older, they get better at making excuses. And that's what we're seeing here. The best excuse for a bad moment. That's what you're seeing here in him. A great excuse because he's a magna cum laude liar. Okay. And so he's not a child anymore, and he's not stealing as a child. He's an adult and he's stealing adult stuff. So we're going to have to see adult excuses for his behavior.
So honestly, so what exactly is intergenerational trauma? Like, it's a real thing, right? They're not just making this up out of thin air.
Well, wait. Let's go with that second one. Are they making it up? Yeah, kind of. And there is a collusion between therapy and law. See, it's people are getting paid in law to get their client off. Whether they believe they're guilty or not guilty doesn't matter. I'm getting paid to get them off. So if I can find a reason, a quote unquote professional reason for this to happen, then that's what I'm going to do. And that's what they've done with this intergenerational stuff. It's just an excuse for what we would consider bad behavior. Oh, and in truth, all of us have intergenerational stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
You growing up were given certain kind of food. You lived with certain kind of clothes. You used certain kind of soap. Okay. Now, would it be weird as you grew up to an adult that you use the same kind of soap and wear the same kind of clothes and ate the same kind of food? No, that is just a learned habit. That's not a mental illness. That's called life. You know, we copy what makes us comfortable. Okay, this is what makes us comfortable. But if I've stolen, quote unquote, an adult lie, then I better come up with an adult solution. But the thing about all this with him is it doesn't pass the smell test. It's like, ooh, this doesn't smell right. Yeah, it's because it's not right. They've come up with a solution that's incorrect, and they're using this psychology to do it. And that's just what I would consider poor psychology.
So do these psychiatrists or psychologists that are coming on the witness stand, they're all paid for this, right?
Wait a minute. First thing you need to say, are those psychologists or psychiatrists coming on for free?
Yes. Are they coming on for free? I don't think they are.
And my thinking is not only no, but heck no, they're not coming on for free. They're being called because the attorney knows what they're going to say before they say it. And they're being paid to say it a particular way. They actually are at that moment stop being therapists and they start being salesmen. We're going to sell you with an idea, and we hope as a jury you're going to buy it and let our guy off. That's what's going on.
Well, this is his second run-in. I mean, he already was tried and released, or it ended up being a mistrial. This was 2018, and then he ran for re-election again. Yeah,
but wait a minute. Do you think that there weren't people long before all of this that said, Bob, hey, you probably need to jack it back a little bit. You need to kind of calm down a little bit. They gave him a clue, and what he did was he gave him the finger and said, I don't care. You know, he thought he was God Jr. and he could do anything and not have the consequences. And people that do that down the road eventually get caught because they can't do it at the same level. They have to do it higher. But to think that he was not warned by people in the legislature to stop that crap, no, he knew what he was doing. And they're just looking for a good excuse for him being a crook.
Well, he looks quite happy in this photo. Oh, so for someone who's struggling with major emotional issues, I find that very, very interesting that he's got that he's just got a big old smile on his face and he's ready to party.
Right, because it's hard for people to have what I would call a normal narrative. This is how normal people behave. This is the normal rules. This is how we normally act. And when they meet people that have a totally different narrative in their head, and their narrative says, I can do no wrong. Everybody's an idiot. I can't be caught. I'm God with a small g. And so I'm entitled to all this.
So you think the core of this is entitlement?
Oh, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. And I believe this is his first rodeo. Well, you already said it wasn't, and I'm saying I bet there were other rodeos before that these two came along, that people had tried to help him with what we would consider a normal narrative. This is the rules. And I will tell you right now, does Bob think rules apply to him? No. He has his own book of rules and he follows those. And that book of rules says Bob can do anything Bob wants to.
It seems as though that's the case. And I think that, I guess we would normally just attribute that to politicians. By the way, apparently it's gardening day at this time on a Thursday at 3:00. So now I know. They got the weed whacker outside the window. It's great. Or the leaf blower rather. But it seems like, and there's a word that is getting a lot of traction now, and it's been getting a lot of traction for 8-9 years now.
Right.
Is the N word.
Oh.
Narcissism.
Right. And what I say to that is good. It's important to pick out the landmines if you're going to walk in that area. And America has become a landmine of narcissists. And if you don't watch it, buddy, you're going to step on one and they're going to blow your foot off. They're going to take everything. I mean, there are stories of people who had it all, met a narcissist, and were broke by the time it was over. Narcissists have an emotional wound that is unhealable. Narcissists are adverse to therapy, and you really have to have somebody really focused very good to handle narcissists, also borderlines, because they are great at wearing out and wearing down therapists.
Dr. Rhoades, Gen X Granny, who you might recognize from over Surviving the Survivor and other channels, says, Dr. Rhoades is hilarious. Please say yeehaw for me, Dr. Rhoades.
Yeehaw, buddy. See, because she knows I'm just an old okie. I'm an old country boy, and I went to school and I got certified, but I still think I was raised by country people, and I call a shovel a damn spade. That's what I'm about. I'm not here to flower things up. I'm here to cut it down and say, here's what's really going on. Number one, don't be full of yourself, but take care of yourself. And if you do that, your life will go better.
Well said for an Okie, for sure.
There we go. Say, remember what you're talking to,
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh boy, that's me. I'm an Okie who's moved to South Carolina, got tired of the flat, went to where there's hills and streams and stuff in South Carolina. Man, I love Greenville, South Carolina. Great place to live. Glad I ended up here. But don't think I'm not connected to the Okies.
You said Greenville?
Yeah.
So you're very close to the land of Murdaugh.
Well, yeah, Murdaugh is at the end of the state. Murdaugh's kind of like North Florida is really what Murdaugh is, or a little bit of Georgia, but it's just at the end of the state. And boy, let me tell you, Murdaugh, see, you want to think, hey, Murdaughs are metro. Well, that's crap. They're country. Man, where Murdaughs live and do they're farmers. Murdaugh is a legal person in the land of farms. That's what Murdaugh's doing. And buddy, he talk about off the rails, but he had the same thing. Do you think Murdaugh thought he was untouchable?
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
Then imagine, let's take I'm untouchable and I'm little God and put cocaine on it. And now you got the Murdaugh story. And the little Murdaugh was a drunk and, just out there riding the boat and crashing and killing people. Oh, Oh, what a nightmare. What a nightmare. But that kind of stuff happens in all rural areas. We don't need to pick out Murdaugh. You go to any state that has a rural area, and there's a Murdaugh there. I guarantee you. I've seen Murdaughs in Oklahoma. I've seen Murdaughs in Texas. I've seen Murdaughs all everywhere.
Speaking of Murdaugh, so obviously he is locked away, throwing away the key.
Right. Well, wait a minute. First of all, think of number one, who is Murdaugh? Okay. He's a third generation lawyer. Okay. He lived in a small area where he was way somebody. Okay. Do I believe 10 years from now, we'll still be talking about Murdaugh? Yes. Why? Because Murdaugh is going to still be talking about Murdaugh, and the people in South Carolina are going to be listening, and all over the country. There's nobody bigger in Murdaugh's life than Murdaugh. Ooh-wee. And a lawyer. And he's going to sue and counter and object, and he's going to get all his court buddies to do that ad nauseum. He's going to call in every favor, every legal favor he's ever given in his life. He's going to call it in.
Yeah. So Dr. Vonda K says, this is one of my favorite topics with two of my favorite speakers. Thank you so much, Dr. Vonda.
How can we not be her favorite? Thank you. Yeah, we love it. Yeah. Because I come from a place where if it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck and swims like a duck, it's a duck.
It's a duck, yeah.
Well, Murdaugh is a duck. Plain and simple. Bob up stealing stuff from other countries. He's a duck also.
Yeah.
And America has become a duck field.
It's so funny because I was adopted later on in life, and my adopted father would say the same thing. And I'd never heard it from anybody, but he would be like, it walks like a duck, talks like a duck, quacks like a duck. It's a duck. And I never forgot that. And I moved out to California, and I tell that to people, and they're like, what are you talking about? And I'm like,
First of all, people in California say, well, wait a minute, what's a duck?
Yeah, precisely. Like, is that what you mean? Like, yeah. I don't think they. I was raised in a small Midwestern town in Ohio, and it was, we have all those local colloquialisms.
Yeah, but, hey man, there's good people in Ohio. Come on now.
There's great people in Ohio. There's also a lot of crazy people in Ohio.
Well, sure. Hey, by percentage, less than where you are now.
Hands down. 23 million people, I believe, in the LA basin.
Yeah.
Which is the population of the continent of Australia. Yeah. Pretty insane. Joan Longenecker Beckler asks, how do you remove yourself from a family member narcissist? Ours stopped at nothing, even involving lawyers, and it took the lawyers years to catch on.
Yeah, one of the things is the one of the number one traits of a narcissist is to convey they create a narrative, and the narrative is, I have a problem and you can fix it. And so they hook. It's like fishing. It's emotional fishing. They hook the person into trying to fix them, and then it takes the person sometimes their whole life to undo the hook and get away. That's what you have to not take the bait or focus on getting the hook out of your mouth emotionally to move on. But as long as you're trying, or as long as you believe you can fix them, they've got you, because they are unfixable.
So that's how they rope you in. You think you can fix them.
Yeah. Oh, buddy. And wait a minute. Who doesn't want to be a hero? Who doesn't want to be the person who does the fixing? Oh my goodness. Very true. Yeah. Well, then, and you hear the choral go, oh, I was their own personal savior. ooh, no. You're going to have to do everything you can to be your own personal savior, not somebody else's personal savior. It is not your job to heal other people. It's your job to take care of you and be a good example of being healed. That's what you do.
Yeah, well said. Well said from a doctor who specializes in such things.
Well, I try to do that ever so often just to fool people that I can't say something.
But could it almost be, and we've kind of gone from intergenerational trauma to now narcissism because we're talking about.
Well, wait a minute. It's all connected. Is why.
Okay, that was my question. So is this all connected?
We're doing that is because one, it connects with something. It doesn't end. It just connects and comes something else. It spreads out. And so that's why we're doing this, is to show people, what may seem to be a little thing turns out to be a big thing. And this person is just one issue to a bigger issue. See?
What do you mean by that?
Well, okay. When I'm having, wait a minute, think about lawyers have to get clients to make money. Therapists have to get clients to make money, okay? So basically, they're encouraging a group of people out there to be sick, okay? And they're gleaning to find the sick ones, okay? And so what people have found out was, naturally, I can't be in control. I can't get the attention of others in a healthy way. There is a healthy way to do that, but I don't have the ability to do that. But I watch other people do it in a unhealthy way, and I go, oh, I could do that. And they do it, and it works. And that style of working is common to people who have a narcissistic personality disorder. And to the point that it becomes a mental illness.
So I think this is going to be a loaded question. I can tell you this is going to wind you up.
Oh, good. Let's go wind it. It's what I said.
Gen X Granny wants to know, do you think social media / the internet has created more narcissistic behaviors in people?
No. It has. It doesn't have that power. Okay. It didn't create crap. It provided a platform for people on the outside to find, on the edge of society, to find connection. That's what the internet's been able to do. If I was weird and I lived in a small town, I'd be the only weird person and I'd feel isolated. But if I have the internet, I got 100 or 1,000 or 10,000 people with the same issue out there in America, and I'm connecting to them and interacting with them, and the internet feeds that. That's what's happening. It doesn't create it, it just recognizes that. And they found a way to make money from that. Woohoo!
So you don't think there is an increase, or you just think we notice it more, maybe? There's
not an increase. There is the platform to noticing what's out there, and it looks like it's increasing. Okay? It wasn't like the internet went out there and it made people weird. People were weird, and the internet showed you they've always been there. It was only one in one small city, and they're everywhere.
Oh God!
Weird is not in one little area in America. Weird's everywhere. Every town, every state, every entity. There's weird people, and the internet allowed people that were weird to find a tribe of like thinking, feeling people. And they love that because then that makes them, I must be normal. There's 10,000 other people that are weird like me. No, that just means you're weird by a lot of people. Are there a lot of weird people? Yeah, there's a lot of weird people. And does it take a lot of work to be healthy? Yeah. That's only like just in physicalness. If you look out, how many physical fit people do you know?
Well, I know a lot because I live in LA and I work out at one of the biggest gyms. So I know a lot of people.
Okay, good. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. Okay. So you found that if I want to be, and if I'm going to live in this area, I ought to be in better shape.
Sure.
But I doubt that when you lived in Ohio, that was a big issue.
Well, I mean, I moved out here when I was fairly young, but you're absolutely right. I would go to the gym there, but not like I do here. And I got in crazy shape when I moved to LA because the competition.
When you went to the gym where you were young, how many people were in the gym?
Packed all the time.
Wow.
You got models, actors,
How many gyms were there where you lived when you were little?
Oh, you're talking about when I was back in Ohio?
Yeah.
Oh, I think we had the YMCA.
I think
we had the YMCA, and then we had like the high school weight room, which I never really used.
Lovely, so healthy.
A lovely place.
Yeah, smells good.
Right. And that's all I can really like. I think I think they had the Nautilus Club. If anyone remembers the Nautilus clubs.
And my thinking would be all 5 of those people went there. But see, that's Ohio. But boy, when you go to LA, God, there's a gym on every corner. And there's gym equipment and gym underwear and gym this and gym that.
And gym influencers.
Yes. But the bottom line is, that's like, did LA create fitness? Well, that's hooey. No, it didn't. It saw a void, and it basically fed air to the spark, and it became a flame. Woohoo! Good. And the people that got on it made money. They're way to go. Being entrepreneurial in America.
I have to say though, in my gym has they have fitness influencers, right? And so, like, I got busted a few weeks ago for filming myself, and I said, "Well, I'm like, but like, what are they like? What are they doing? Literally 5 feet away from me?" And they're like, "Oh, there are a Gold's Gym influencers." And I was like, and I called a friend of mine, and I said, because we actually worked on the documentary for Gold's Gym, and I said, well, how do I get to be a Gold's Gym influencer? And then the guy that was giving me all the shit, he's been gone now for 2 months. I don't know if he got fired, he quit, whatever. So it's been smooth sailing ever since.
Well, wait a minute. I can tell you how you can be an influencer anywhere. Walk in and say, "I'm an influencer." That's how you are.
Pretty much.
Now, it's not like an elected office like, I got elected to be the influencer. No, if somebody walked in and said, "I'm an influencer," and everybody go, "Oh yeah, that's it. That's what they do." Oh, that's a self-entitled moment. And boy, what group would love that? Narcissistic people. Ooh, we have an influencer. That's another word for narcissist, is influencer. Now, are all influencers narcissistic? No. But if I was looking for one and need to find them in a hurry, that's where I look for them.
That's funny. I went to music school and we used to have a joke, and no disrespect to any sopranos out there, but they said if you were to take a wrench and throw it out into a crowd of people, you'd hit a soprano 9 out of 10 times. Yeah,
well, hey, and that
was a little music school humor for anyone that's.
Let me help you. That's a quarter in LA and an influencing.
Yeah.
Could you take a quarter out and throw it in LA and hit an influencer of something? Well, I'm a dog influencer. Oh wow. I'm a coach influencer. Oh yeah. See, I can be any kind of influencer because it's a self-proclaimed title. Wow.
It's really hard.
My own reality. See, that's a narcissistic style. I create my own reality. And that's where these people that we're talking about today, they're doing the same thing. They've just colored outside the lines. You know, society has lines, and as long as you color within there, even though you're weird, but if you color within the lines, everything's fine. But the minute you color out, ooh, we got a problem. And so lawyers are there to try to redraw the lines, and the law is there to maintain the lines.
So are you saying that a lot of lawyers are narcissists?
Oh my goodness! Yeah, buddy. I'm gonna feign ignorance on that because someday I may need a lawyer.
Right? Exactly.
And guess which is going to be the best kind I want? Narcissistic lawyer. That's going to be
sure.
Yeah. See, a narcissist. Another thing a narcissist is. I don't know the audience knows about pit bulls, but pit bulls have a mechanism in which when they bite something, their jaw locks down and you almost got to knock them out to get them off you. That's the kind of lawyer you want. You want a pit bull lawyer. You don't want one that's, I want a lawyer that's going to seek the truth. Yeah, what an idiot movement. That's Hollywood. No. You want a lawyer that's going to win. You want to stay out of jail, and you're willing to, and he's willing to ask money, and you're willing to pay money for that to happen. Not for someone. I'm going to hire someone to seek the truth. Wow, what a bunch of hooey. That's Hollywood. That isn't the truth. No. Yeah, people who see, and here, think about this. In our lifetime, being a lawyer when we were young, especially me. That was very honorable. Wow, to be that a lawyer and a doctor, those were honorable professions. And you looked up to that crowd. But in our lifetime, they've gone from the highest to the lowest.
Yeah. And sometimes they have some very choice clients.
Yes.
There is a case that's going on right now, a gentleman who's on trial. Chad Daybell.
Oh, buddy, let me tell you, man. You see this man? Run. This is not well walking. Is what this is. He's what we call a good bad example. Okay, and where he comes from? Not me. I'm innocent. I was just trying to get along to go along. And I'm watching at the bottom of it all. What's he going to say? I'm a victim. Oh, wee, buddy. There's the song of the guilty. I'm a victim.
Now, has he actually claimed that he's a victim?
Oh, wait a minute. How many clocks do you know that come up and say, well, I want to let you know before you see me swim, before you see me waddle around, before you hear me quacking, I'm a duck. How many does that happen to? Or do you look at everything they do and it tells you by their actions they're a duck? Okay. Have I heard Daybell say up front concretely, I'm a victim? No. But is he quacking? Yeah. Is he waddling? Yeah. Is he flying? Yeah. He's doing everything a person who feigns victimhood does. Feigns fault. There are really what we call true victims, but he is not one of those.
But so when we talk about narcissism, you know, there's the narcissist, and they're Dr. Ramani Durvasula talks about this. I have her book sitting on the shelf about how they actually feel shame. But when you go into the dark triad and you wade into these waters of Machiavellianism, psychopathy, sociopathy, can you talk to us a little bit about that? Because that's when I look at Chad Daybell, I think of my father and just this real, it's a complete delusion, because he believed that he was Jesus Christ reincarnated and he was there to save the world. Is that, if I'm not mistaken?
Right. Well, wait a minute. Let me ask you, is he Jesus? Is Chad that? Have I missed the boat?
or something, or he's the savior of the world. He wrote these books.
Okay. Wow. He's the nirvana of it all. That's who Chad is. So everybody in the world missed it, but Chad got it. Is what you're telling me?
Yes, and Lori Vallow as well. Yes, they were the true believers.
Oh yeah, and now we're talking about well person number 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lori, another duck.
Yeah.
So are the 2 ducks going to sound similar? Yeah. Are they going to get their stories straight? Oh, you bet. Okay.
But do you think that that's narcissism, or you think that they're psychotic? I mean, because you're talking about, the taking of lives of young children in just the most horrific manner. Potentially,
you're going to hate the answer. You ready?
Yeah.
They're evil.
They're evil.
You don't hear that much.
Yeah.
But that's the core. These are evil people. And
I know what evil looks like firsthand. Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. If you want to see it, watch them. Listen to how they operated. Evil. That's the duck. The duck for them is evil. It's not they're not they may at this point be psychologically damaged. But before all that, when nobody was pointing a finger at them, were they evil? Yes. And you don't hear that much because feigning evil used to be done in the church and it didn't make much money. But if you give it a DSM code, you can charge people and make lots of money.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, that's all that's going on. It's all about the Benjamins.
Yeah, it's I watched that documentary about her and sins of our mother, and just her little stint on Wheel of Fortune, and it's just. But I think for myself, and just trying to relate just from my own experiences with this, is there like a line where it crosses over from just being narcissism to being like, I'm going to do whatever I want. People are expendable to me. Right. You're a succubus or a vampire, and then they're just there to feed off of. Where is that sort of, how do we delineate?
Wait a minute. Number one, there is no line. There is no line. Line is an illusion. Okay? Now I'm going to get country on you. You ready? When the bull is in the ditch, what do you need to do? And the answer is whatever it takes to get the bull out of the ditch. That's the answer. Okay? If we can pull it out, we'll pull it out. If we need to get a pickup to get it out, you do whatever it takes. That's this crowd. These issues are kids were a bull in the ditch. How they operated their life, anything that stood in their way was a bull in the ditch. What do they need to do to get it out? And the answer is whatever it takes.
Yeah, so they're relentless for their own.
Oh, well, scarier than relentless, they're right. Imagine if you believed everything you did was right. What would you be willing to do? And the answer would be anything.
Sure.
Because what I'm telling myself, well, this is what, especially if I think God's talking to me. Well, God told me to do this. Really? Okay. Yeah. And that's what people do. And they operate that way. And operating that way is very enticing to mentally ill people.
But do they also genuinely believe it? Like, does somebody like a Chad Daybell genuinely believe their bullshit?
Oh, wait a minute. The last part doesn't exist in their world.
Okay.
Nothing comes out of their mouth that's bullshit. They don't think like that. No. other people and what they say is bullshit. But what I say is the word of God. What I say is pure and right. And everybody else has got it wrong.
But isn't there sort of a level of psychosis with that?
Well, what I'm saying is, I don't think there is that starting out, but as you maintain that environment, it causes your mind to go off the rail. But there had to be that predisposition before you started all that. See, I'm not having God talk to me unless I believe God does talk to people. See, if I believe God talks to people, then I've been selected. God talks to me. See how that works? And is that appealing to a narcissistic personality disorder? You bet. Yeah, buddy. I knew if God was going to talk to somebody, he'd talk to me. He wouldn't be talking to Joe Blow over here. No way, that guy's a loser. But me, hey, I'm with him like this. Well, certainly I'm with him like this because I've decided what's right and I'm doing what I want to do. Then I've created my God and he supports my thinking, even though my thinking is unwell.
Somebody asked earlier, and I didn't mean to pass it over, but you talked a little bit about this. Is someone born with these personality styles or disorders, or is it something that's cultivated or groomed in them, or is it related to intergenerational trauma, traumatic experiences growing up, adverse childhood, experiences? Is it something like that, or is it entitlement?
Okay, you ready? I don't know. And the truth is, nobody else does. If they say they know, number one, I'm going to tell you, they're lying. Okay? I don't know. But they realize there is what's called a predisposition. Mm-hmm. I'm predisposed. Okay? If I grew up in the Holocaust, well, might I have an issue with authoritative actions? Yeah. Would I pass that issue down to the people in my family? You bet. Because I got to live with me and they've got to deal with me and they've got to listen to me. And after hearing me over and over and over again, I'm going to do that. But if I'm already physically disposed to color out of the lines, I'm gonna have what's called selective listening. They may say a whole bunch of normal stuff that I don't hear, but if they say something psychotic, man, I'm on it. I'm pure vision on that. So there's an element of selectiveness into that.
So they're not necessarily. So they could be also groomed from childhood as well, if they have.
Yeah. Well, I think in truth, I love to say this. In truth, we are all groomed.
Yeah.
Childhood. Because I bet you were different if I'd have met you in Ohio.
Sure.
Oh, that's all I'm saying. Okay.
Totally.
Yeah. I was a different guy. Wow. And going to L.A. was part impartial to changing you from being an Ohio guy to an LA guy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's called normal. That's not some kind of psychological issue. That's just that happens to people. Okay. What they're saying, does the environment or will the environment influence you? Yeah. But at the same time, some people have a predisposition to align with weird. And because of that, they will gravitate and connect to weirdness. That's that's a great example of Chad and Lori. Okay. Mm-hmm. They were operating in weird separately. But boy, what happened when they came into each other's universe? Boom. Now we've just stepped weirdness up to the next level. And and when they were little, had radar looking for weird, and they didn't find it till they found each other. And man, ooh! And what was the old saying? Birds of a feather.
Yep.
There we go.
Flock together.
Will a weird bird seek out a weird bird? Yeah. Yeah, it will.
And sometimes the apple might not fall far from the tree, even when there's a mother involved.
Ooh, well, I would say,
in honor of Mother's Day, we have Mother's Way.
Well, I want to say that mothers are the number one educators of the family. Okay. And they convey messages through nurturing or the absence of nurturing. And so they have a very powerful influence. And so if you find somebody that was raised by a weird mother and they're fine, wow, man, woo, buddy, that's an oddity. You don't see that much. But you do see people that were raised by very level-headed, what we would consider normal mothers, and they pick up on that style and they're the same way.
Yeah. And it looks like good old Charlie got it from Mama Donna.
Again, birds of a feather. Doesn't say what the age of the birds are.
Yeah.
See an older bird, a younger bird, a mother bird, or whatever. And certainly if I'm the mother, I'm at close proximity to be influential. And so if I'm exposed to that and exposed to that and exposed to that, it's easy for it to become my normal.
Yeah.
Because I don't know any better. But if I live in life, one of the things I'm going to find out is there are lines in the coloring picture. And what I can glean is, as long as I draw within the lines, everything's fine. But if I draw out the lines, that's a choice. No matter what I was educated as, I've already understand that's a choice. See, that's part of what you're seeing. You don't see too many people come to the court and say, I want to plead insanity. Because what they're saying is, I don't know the difference between right and wrong. Woo, buddy. Lawyers love that because they know they can disprove that real quick. No. I knew right from wrong. I ignored right from wrong because it did not fit my narrative.
Wow. Tough stuff. Do you have children? You have children, right?
Yeah. Oh, I got three. Well, the answer is yes and no. All of my children are adults. I have three, and I have 5 grandchildren.
Oh, wow.
And one of the things I found out is you got a shot until about 16, and then they become geniuses, and you're an idiot. So I'm just waiting for the grandchildren for them to make me an idiot.
But on that note, because there's so many of these kids that grow up with these entitlement issues, like how can a parent proactively try to navigate the waters of making sure their son or daughter or child does not fall into these or succumb to these pitfalls, not only of becoming these people, but also becoming victims of these people?
Right. The real answer is family, tight family. Okay. If I was to ask a family who their daughter or son was dating, 9 times, if not 10 times out of 10, they wouldn't know. Then if I ask them, do you know the parents of the person they're dating? They wouldn't know that either. Oh, wait a minute. Do you know where they live? They wouldn't know that either. See, years ago, you knew them, you knew their parents, you knew where their parents lived, you had interacted with their parents. You might have gone to church and to school boards with them. It was interconnected, okay? And so what naturally happened was a tightness. There was never, you're going to marry a person, you were going to marry a family. If you were going to be in a relationship, you wouldn't be in a relationship with a person, you would be in a relationship with their family. And their family was so close, and they were given an element of respect that if they said, ooh, the person dumped you. That isn't the way it is now. You meet people, nobody knows anybody, you don't know their background, they create a false narrative, they sell you on the narrative, and how they have a very powerful delivery system. And the delivery system is passion. Say, I'm gonna feed you a false narrative, and the best way to feed you a false narrative is with passion. That's where, and I love the phrase love bombing. That is a narcissistic skill. Okay, that's a skill set that people learn. And another thing that is powerful in this is the use of time. Okay. Narcissists fear time. They look to control time, and their number one skill is speeding up time and doing things right away. Let's get it done. Let's get it done. Before you have a time to process it. Okay.
Oh,
that is a narcissistic skill. Okay. In a healthy family, wait a minute. The first thing is we're not in a hurry. We're not in a hurry for you to find somebody. We're not in a hurry for this. We're on our personal time, and we don't. Anybody you date, you got to bring them home. Not only you got to bring them home, we got to eat at the table with them.
Yeah,
we got to spend time with them. When you do that, who controls the time? The family.
Yeah.
When I can pick you up, let's go have a couple of drinks, let's snort some coke, and let's get on each other. Sue, buddy, let's just heat it up. Well,
you guys come to LA? Are you in LA or are you in Greenville?
Hey, that's called everywhere in America.
Unfortunately, it is.
It is tough. It is tough. You know, it is tough. You can imagine. I tell people all the time. People say, "Well, people ought to hear that," and I say, wait a minute, I can pitch something all day long, but if you don't have a glove, you're not going to catch it.
Yeah.
We need to help people get a glove. See, and that's part of what we're doing here. We're saying, narcissists, they're not good people, and they don't good things, and they color outside the line, and they're going to take your life and flush it down the toilet. Ooh, the people that have a glove are going to listen to this podcast and get it. People without a glove, it's just going to blow on by.
Yeah.
People don't fail from lack of knowledge. They fail from lack of being patient and getting it, which is harder work.
Yeah. Haste makes waste, as my grandmother would say.
Granny's a genius. Wait a minute. Granny's a genius. Oh, I see somebody say, did narcissists know right from wrong?
Yeah.
No. They know them and them. Oh, and then they know them. And they know you too. And here's right and wrong. Whatever I say is right. Whatever you say is wrong. That's a narcissist.
Wow. You
can't tell a narcissist a thing. They live life without a glove.
They live life without a glove?
A glove, yeah, an emotional glove. So you got to have a glove to catch ideas. And you grow up with people. And if you're in a healthy family, they give you a glove emotionally and they show you how to use it. And how do they show you? By example. We're not going to tell you about love. We're going to show you how we love each other. We're not going to tell you about caring. We're going to show you how we care. And we're going to do activities and life together. But see, that's hard to manipulate people together.
Mm.
It's hard.
So the core family unit is something that is almost like a repellent to a narcissist or to
yes.
people. Got it.
It's It's like a mosquito repellent. A mosquito repellent does not actually repel mosquitoes. It carries a scent that makes you invisible to mosquitoes. See, if I have a healthy family, wait a minute, and I, as a narcissist, stumble into that, I'm lost. And the one thing I need to rule my life is control, and being in a family that has structure causes me to lose control. They will get out. They will not stay.
Oh, wow.
It is a repellent.
So often the narcissist will pit the victim, for lack of a better word, or their subject or the object of their desire.
Wait a minute, they're prey. Let's call it what it is.
They're prey.
Yeah, they're like a lion and they see a gazelle and they're going to stalk it and get it. They have a single vision. Anything that stands in the way, eliminate it. And you see that in the Daybell. People were in the way. They're gone.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
You know, I was talking to a friend of mine the other day who is also a psychologist.
Right.
And he was talking to me about limerence. And that was something that sort of knocked me. You were talking about the love bombing, right?
Right.
What is limerence? And when somebody, is a limerent being to another person and you get caught up in this trap, like what is that? What is that?
Okay. Have you ever gone fishing in a pond trying to catch a fish?
Yeah, a few times.
Okay. Now
I wasn't very if I was in charge of dinner, we'd all starve.
Well, okay, good. Well, you're not a fisherman. But anyway, let's talk about fishing. And you didn't go with a cane pole and a hook and no bait. That would be foolish, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Okay. A limerence is bait that entices the fish to bite the hook that is there, but you're making it, you're covering it with bait so that the prey doesn't get it.
Interesting.
So wait a minute. Is tight clothes a limerence? Yeah. Is good smelling cologne? Is having good hygiene? Yeah, those are all things that are bait that helps you catch the fish you're looking for. And also, like in competitive fishing, what they're looking for is this phrase: where are the fish biting?
Yeah.
That's called the party scene. Party scene is where fish are biting. Finding people on the outskirts of sociability, kind of outcasts. Oh, that's where the fish are biting.
Are you trying to read the comment from Gia?
Yeah.
I always enjoy Roger. He's a little crazy.
I'll bring my wife down here and she'll prove I'm not a little crazy. I'm a lot crazy. I've got the crazy by the tail and I'm trying to pull it out of the ditch.
So speaking of luring people into the traps of people who shower and have fancy and shiny objects,
right?
What do you think about this gentleman here?
I believe that is the Black Epstein. That's all you've got there. I think there are people that are users that look for usees. He's a user. Epstein was a user. Weinstein's a user. With the onslaught of widespread media, I think it's going to take a lot more work to be unseen as a user. And these people have gotten caught from old. It's not like they just started that. They've been doing that for years. But I believe media has come to the place through investigation and through going through tapes and looking at things and people being able to make pay by squealing, that the line to being undetected is harder. They're just like that Senator Bob we talked about.
Yeah.
Do I believe he's the first person who's stolen money? I mean, come on now. That kind of crap was going on when Lincoln was president.
Sure.
Okay. But we didn't have the media. So people believed it, but they couldn't prove it. Now they can prove it. So what you're going to have is people that are going to be able to behave under radar. We've lowered noticeable radar blips in our lifetime, and the internet has helped us do that.
So these types of perpetrators are more difficult to spot nowadays than before.
Ooh, you bet. And we're just getting the lazy ones.
Interesting, because you would think it would be the reverse. You would think with the proliferation of the internet that you'd be able to spot them easier, right? Yeah. You are able to spot them easier. Because wait a minute, Diddy wasn't having parties unknown. Yeah,
he was having parties, but what wasn't asked was what kind of parties?
Yeah.
What was actually going on in the party? See, but when I say it's just a party, nothing to see here, go on, just a party. Everybody bought that. But then we drop lower. And it's going to catch anybody who operated at an upper level. So it's people are going to learn to be. Are people going to stop being users? No. Are people going to stop being exploiters? No. Is the human trafficking of America going to stop? No. People are just going to be more savvy about it. Stay under the line of being detected.
So, what are some ways that people can, we've heard about all the horrible things, the scary, big, scary, terrible things that are out there.
Wait a minute, and that's the truth. We need to do that. There are big, scary, terrible things out there. People are not nice, and they need to be vested, like they're getting a membership to your club. You're not letting just any Tom, Dick, and Harry show up and say, I want to be a member. No, there's qualifications. If people would do that in their personal life, they wouldn't be around such idiots.
Yeah.
You've got to be more rigorous in access to your life. More rigorous, more qualifications. Well, you're picky. My thought would be, you bet. I am picky, and I ain't picking you. Genius.
So there's a lot of talk, and Scott Galloway just did a TED talk about this. He's written a book recently. He's a professor, I believe, at NYU. Don't quote me, but he talks about just the lack of male and female connection, but specifically the younger males in American society not wanting to have a girlfriend. The sort of the rise of the incels, and we've seen that play out in the Idaho murders case. There's a lot of talk around that.
Right.
Is part of this because we're somehow lacking the desire for that human connection that we once had, maybe not even a decade ago, and now we're not, or we're
lazy,
or we're overzealous at the same time, and we're like, I met this girl on Tinder, we're gonna get married.
Yeah.
It's
love
like
you, mean it, let's get married. Love you, mean it, let's get married. That's how it works.
It's like
crazy.
2 speeds.
Right.
Glacier, hair on fire. That's it.
That's it. Wait a minute. And there's no line between that. That's like boo-boo. No.
Exactly.
No. When, like I said, with a membership to a club, I have certain requirements. Well, number one, what's great about that is when I do that, I control time. Narcissists hate time controllers. Okay? So now I control time. I control access to me. I have requirements. Okay? I don't hear men nor women who have requirements having trouble finding a good person. What I hear is the majority's too lazy and want it right away. And they're love bombable. A person in structure, you can love bomb me, doesn't matter. Still got to go through the requirements. I can be hot for you, doesn't matter. I've got to go through the requirements.
There's a lot of truth to power there, my friend.
Yeah, well, and somebody is going to run the narrative in your life. When it stops being you and how you were raised, you're in trouble.
Sage advice.
I try to do that every so often just to fool people. That's my crazy there.
Yeah, it's lifelong learner says, why do people attach themselves to the lies from narcissists and then can't be convinced otherwise?
Because they are the origins of truth. They define truth. So, what if I didn't get to define truth, not just my truth, the truth? There's a lot of power and control in that. Who wants to give that up? Nobody. So that is a natural attraction to people who are predisposed to a narcissistic personality disorder. They're going to be gravitated to that. I want to be in control. Do they think they're right? Well, yeah, they don't only think they're right. They know they're right.
Yeah, it seems like a good foundation of good, solid boundaries.
Yes, they're boundaries. But see, when you say boundaries, what you're really saying is lines. Lines.
The lines. Okay.
Yeah, like a coloring.
We need to color inside the lines.
Yes. If you let me tell you, you find me a woman and a man who are together, who color within the lines and don't want to be together. There's number one, I'm going to tell you, there's not going to be infidelity. There's going to be more achievement in that relationship, and there's going to be more agreement in that relationship because they both gotten the structure and they're following the structure. And back in the day, that is what worked well. You had someone who had a structure. They found someone who had a structure. Okay. See, if I married the girl next door and I divorced her, oh my goodness, those are the people who I've got to see them every day. Yeah. But if I marry whoever I find and I'm wrapped up in the bombing of love and it doesn't work out, I just go to the emotional bathroom, I put them in the toilet and I flush it and say next. What's fascinating is how many people marry the same man or woman with different faces. That is what, as a therapist, it blows your mind. Is I've been married 5 times to 5 different women, and when you listen to what the women were like, they were all the same. They just were different people. See, the common denominator wasn't the women and their issues. The common denominator was the guy and his pickability problem.
I know a couple. Unfortunately, the God rest his soul, the gentleman passed away during COVID. But I remember they were telling me their love story. They were married and they got divorced like 10 years prior, 12 years prior. And then they had their whole dating lives and they were like, everyone out here is crazy. And they got remarried. They came back to one because they already had kids. They came back. They were comparing notes like, are you finding? No. Are you finding? No. Are you happy? No. I love you. You love me. Okay, let's make it work. You know what I mean?
Well, you know what they were doing? That they were reminding them of the true picture. That's all they were doing. We lost vision of the picture. Sure. We thought we listened to other people who said drawing out the line works, and what we found out is it doesn't. And we had found somebody who understood the picture and drew, and that is an attraction. That is a healthy piece of bait, and you want to be hooked by that.
So Dr. Roger Rhoades will have his
that are catching healthy fish in a healthy way. You want to be one of the healthy fish caught by someone who fishes in a healthy way. But that's work, and that's time, and that's requirements, and that's a line. That's hard. The other is easy. Find somebody under any condition, love bomb them, and bring them in and hope. See, I want to say I do, and I want to cross my fingers and hope it does. Wow, what a bunch of hooey. That doesn't work. What a bunch, but see, people about that. Oh, I was watching this movie, and these people found each other. The concept of the one.
Yeah.
Well, that's Hollywood. That's selling a fantasy. That's not reality. Is, oh, wait a minute. I found somebody. They had rules. I had rules. We met each other's rules, and we realized we could never do better. And we jumped into that. That is the 50-year married plan right there. See, think about it. Back in the day, when people married, if one of them died, you could set the clock on the other one. They were going to die too. They were so enmeshed in purpose and in life that when life ended for one of them, hey, the other one was going.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hard choices for good results. Hard choices for good results.
Hard choices for good results. I love it.
Yeah. Because in all the stories we're talking about, I guarantee you in every one of them, there had been a flag that said, "Who? You need to kind of stand back. Whoa, wait a minute. Ooh, you need to get back in the lines." And what did all those people have in common? We don't care. That's for other people. That's for all the other idiots. I'm going to draw where I want to draw. I'm going to live the way I want to live. And other people are going to accept my version. And today that's called criminality, like it has in the past. And hopefully we're putting those people in prison because they don't deserve to be around other human beings.
Yeah, it's that's a whole other topic for a whole other day.
There we go. Hey,
I feel like if we crack that can of worms open,
have me back in as another issue.
Well, Dr. Roger Rhoades, thank you so much for joining the program. And
had this been fun?
It has been fun. When is your book about relationships coming out? Because I feel like my audience would want to read that.
Yeah. I wrote a little cartoon book back in the day called Nikki the Codependent Cat. And I talked about how people can be codependent. And it's a cat and mouse game.
Interesting.
Yeah. And that was back in the day.
So that was geared towards children?
No, wait a minute. Have you talked to any men lately? I mean, what age do they operate? I wrote it for men and for women to give it to men they knew to say, hey, I don't know if you're going to get War and Peace, but you might get this. It came with cartoons and big letters so that a guy could sit down and have a Budweiser and read it while he's waiting for his date to get ready.
Maybe we need more of that because people's attention spans are very limited these days.
Short attention span, easy to love bomb. That's all I'm saying.
Ooh.
What does a narcissist do? Speed, speed, speed. Get her done. Get her done fast. Get her done on my schedule. Control the narrative. That's a narcissist. That's what they do.
I think this has been most engaging. What started off as intergenerational trauma led to the whole discussion on narcissism.
Well,
But of course,
that's crap. I'm just let's just the reason we're not talking about that later in the show is it's crap. It's made up for legal reasons. And I've shown you where, in truth, you don't know anybody that doesn't have not intergenerational trauma, but intergenerational influence. Okay? That you're eating even mayonnaise, because your grandmother ate that mayonnaise. That's life. That's how it works. Is there intergenerational influence? You bet. Is there intergenerational trauma? Man, that's just something that people, in trying to come up with a good excuse for a bad moment. That's about legal, not psychological.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of talk too about epigenetics.
Yeah.
And this was just Holocaust survivors Memorial Week or Day this past couple of days ago, I believe, or maybe Tuesday, Holocaust Remembrance Day.
Yeah.
And it was obviously epigenetics, sort of the philosophy that stemmed out of the Holocaust, correct?
Right. But, have you ever looked at I don't know what it's called, but when researchers go in with a preconceived result. Okay, I'm doing this, looking for this, and man, I found it.
Yeah.
Well, that's improper research.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, I'm just redefining. Are these people, have they been through trauma? Yeah. Has that affected how they operate in life? Yeah. Would that influence people who love them? Yeah. Okay. Do I think it is genetically? Well, I think only people who are looking for it to be genetic find genetic.
Interesting.
Yeah. I don't see the direct connect there.
Interesting.
That's what's been going on. I think that where you would prove that to me is, okay, you got a Holocaust survivor. They have a family that never has exposure to them, ever. Okay? That they stay in Germany and their family grows up in Pittsburgh. Okay? And then their grandchildren show out in genetic ways, emotionally, to that trauma. And it fuels them to color outside the lines. Now, if you show me that, you got my interest now. Okay? But that's not what they're doing. No. It's grandma came over, lived in Pittsburgh, grew up in a family, ate with the family, had Jewish holidays. And guess what grandma talked about all the time to the family?
Yeah.
The Holocaust.
Yeah.
And I wonder how much the kids and the grandkids loved the grandmother and wanted her to not suffer. Yeah. Would that influence them? Yeah. But would it influence them, again, to color outside the lines and make that okay? No. That is a choice, and it's criminality. And that the gene idea and the intergenerational grief is just a legal stance to justify a bad choice.
And we are a people of a free will.
We are. And if you show me the Pittsburgh without Granny and they're doing it, now you got my attention. But I'm not hearing that, and I haven't heard that. And wait a minute, the Holocaust was how many years ago?
Quite a while ago.
Yeah. Well, why haven't we heard about it sooner? Why haven't all these people that are connected having all these legal problems? Oh, well, it's the genes. Oh, so what you're saying is this group had some crappy genes, some illegal genes, and it was sparked by the Holocaust 50 years ago. My thought is checks in the mail. That's too big.
Walks like a duck, talks like a duck.
Yeah,
talks like a duck.
Hey, don't. If you've been in the country, stay in the country. You always bring the country with you. You don't ever clean the mud off the boots. You keep some part of the mud in the boots to remind you where you came from.
Damn right.
Yeah, man. That's it with you. You're an Ohioan. You're not going to stop being Ohioan. Now you're living in LA. You gotta, work through the waters of LA.
Yeah.
But your roots, where'd you grow up? Where'd you come out of? Ohio. You got some of that dirt in you.
Yeah, for sure.
Honor the dirt.
Honor the dirt. Dr. Roger, where can my audience find you?
Wherever people ask me to come on, I'm there. I certainly do shows with Survive the Survivor and others and like this, and I've loved this. And the one thing I can tell the audience, that number one, I'm not findable. But number two, if they happen to bump into me anywhere, this is me. It's not like this is me on this show. I promise you, if you had a cup of coffee with me at Starbucks, I'd be talking about a bull in the ditch. That is a gospel truth.
Yeah. Well, I'm the same. What you see is what you get.
That's it.
I don't have time for any of it. It's too.
The
world is exhausting enough to try to put on fronts.
Yeah, there are people that are out there looking to suck the authenticity out of you.
Yeah.
Watch out for those people. Stay authentic. Honor yourself. Take care of you. Be the best you. It doesn't get better than that.
Sage advice, a great way to wrap up on. Dr. Roger Rhoades is my guest today. Thanks for coming on, man. You're coming back. You have to come back, please.
Oh, man.
I love you.
You know how you get me back? You got to ask me.
I'm gonna have all kinds of things to talk about next time.
And and it'll be a cup of coffee, and we'll show up and act like we know each other.
I love it. Thank you so much. You have a great night.
I will do.
I want to say thank you so much to my guest, Dr. Roger Rhoades. I hope you guys found that. Mover Nation, I thought that was pretty darn entertaining. How lucky are we to have people like him join our program? I just got to say, I'm super stoked. And again, big shout out to Stephen Cohen and Surviving the Survivor for tossing Roger my way. I greatly appreciate it. Movers, we get through another one. Here's the show outro. I'll see you. Mover Nation, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much to all my channel members and Patreon supporters. And for more exclusive content, behind the scenes videos, monthly VIP meet and greets, and watch parties, please consider supporting me on Patreon or by becoming a YouTube channel member. If you like this video, check out this one right here or this one right here. And don't forget to like and subscribe because it helps with the algorithm. On that note, I'm Collier Landry. I'll see you on the next one. Good girl, Marisol. Good girl.